Hello, hi, welcome all of you. Today we are going to discuss chapter 3, that is aptitude and foundational values of civil service. Already in the previous lectures, we have discussed all the foundational values mentioned in the chapter. Now it is the time to discuss the previous UPSC questions and also model answers. I have provided few model answers for few questions. The rest of the questions you can try on your own, and I have also provided model answers for few case studies. In UPSC every year, the questions and case studies definitely will come on foundational values of civil service. This is the very important chapter. Basically, this is a foundation chapter because most of the questions they will emanate from this chapter. That is why you have to understand the concepts very clearly. I have explained all the concepts, all the values in the previous lectures. Just to go through previous lectures, if you missed anything. Now coming to the previous UPSC questions. First we will go to the first question. First question that have come up in 2021 UPSC examination paper is identify 5 ethical traits on which one can plot the performance of a civil servant. Justify their inclusion in the matrix. So you all know that civil servants are, their performance is evaluated at the end of the year. So there is a concept of APAR, annual performance appraisal report, which they have to write. They have to make self-appraisal of their achievements and their target achievements and significant contributions they have made in that year, and they have to submit it to the higher officer. So if I am submitting my self-appraisal, like what all I have done in that financial year, then on what parameter my superior will evaluate my performance? That is what the question is asking. But this question is asking from the ethical angle. Maybe in your organization, you must be talking about various targets, various achievements. But what are those ethical bases? What are those ethical traits which you should evaluate in the performance report of a civil servant? Because implementing rules and regulation, whatever the task assigned to the public servant that he is doing, that is one of the duties. But what is the core duty? Whether he is upholding the values, the civil services values. We have discussed all the values, all the foundational values of civil services. So I have given you the model answer for this question. Just I will explain the model answer. See, performance, I have written that performance evaluation criteria matrix can include below ethical traits. What are those 5 ethical traits? You all know trait. Trait is the quality. So what is the ethical trait? What is the ethical quality that is inherent in an individual civil servant? That's what the question is asking. So you should answer the question. The answers must be to the point and and also it should include multi-dimensional, and also it should include point format, not a paragraph format. If you write in a point format, then the evaluator will evaluate your answer very happily. He will give marks for each point. If you write in paragraphs, it will be difficult for him to evaluate your answer. Please keep this in your mind. So first is dedication to public service. So we have already discussed what is dedication to the public service. As a civil servant, every day you will be facing so many challenges. You will be facing so many pulls and pressures. Despite all those pulls and pressures, whether you are performing well or you are upholding your value system or not, that is one of the most important ethical value. So that's what I have written. Commitment is required for this. Why commitment is required? Civil servant might face distraction in the form of bribes. Someone will come to your office and they will bribe you. Please do this work and I will give you this much amount. And harassment by the higher officers or maybe politicians. Those might be in an excess. Those might be corrupt. They might ask you to do certain things which you don't like. But how to tackle the situation? How to tackle the situation. All these type of scenarios will come up in your case studies, and they will ask you as a civil servant how you deal with that situation. All the case studies are the real life situations that a civil servants or any individual might face in his organization, whether it is a private organization, whether it is a public organization. But since we are appearing for UPSC, since we are talking about the government, we will mostly talk about the public servant. We will mostly talk about the civil servant. You all know the difference of the civil servant and public servant. We have already explained in the previous lecture. Civil servant comes up based on the merit. He writes a competitive exam and he will be selected based on the merit. But what about the public servant? Public servant includes, along with civil servant, a public servant category will include elected representatives, judiciary, people holding public offices, whether it will be a nominated post or any members of any corporate organizations, like members of a boards in the PSU. So the public servant category will be a bigger sector, and civil servant comes as a subset of the public servants. This we have already discussed. Just refer my previous lectures. So I have given you example also. In every point, you have to come up with an example. Maybe with a current affair based, real life based example. Then you will fetch more and more marks. Whatever be the theory, you have to connect the theory with the practical example. This is very, very important. Connecting theory with practical example. So I have written here that similarly a committed police officer, he might be getting so many calls. He might be getting calls from a local minister, local MLA, but he should withstand all such pressures, all such ups and downs, if the person, he or she, is committed to the public service. That is what the first ethical trait which I have noted. The most important is the dedication to public service. Second I am mentioning here is integrity. What is integrity? We have already discussed all these, but again I am telling you, because since I have mentioned them in the answers, integrity is the alignment between your value system and your action. I will do what I say I will do. So there is the alignment between your thoughts, your value system, your words, your deeds. We all know that most of the public servants, they say something else and they do something else, especially with the politicians. We usually see that whatever they say, their intention will be different and their actions will be different, their words will be different, there will be no alignment. So, but as a civil servant, we are saying that there should be consistency of a civil servant's action and his values. What are those values? We have discussed all those values of a civil servant, all those foundational values. So based on those value system, you should act. So such integrity. So this ensures code of ethics and code of conduct are implemented in letter and spirit. That is what we are saying. Every organization has certain code of conduct. You should not take bribes. If any wrong thing is happening in the organization, you should report to the higher officers. All these things are written. In every organization, in every department, every public sector undertaking, everywhere it is written. But nobody follows it. That is what we are talking about, the integrity. It is the consistency of actions, values, and principles. Whatever be the organization values, those organizational values we have embedded, or we have formulated, or we have incorporated those organizational values in the organization's code of conduct document or code of ethics document. Those documents will remain on paper only if you are not implementing those documents. Those documents must be implemented in letter and spirit. When it will be implemented? When only it will be implemented when there is a integrity. The people holding those offices have integrity. Then only those documents will be implemented. Third is being innovative. This is very, very important. We have to reward those civil servants who are making innovations in their workplaces. With their innovations, they are making workplaces better. They are making governments better. They are delivering better. With those innovations, people are happy. There are so many innovations. And even, every year civil service will be called to Delhi. And they will be awarded. They will be awarded even by the Prime Minister also. There is a Prime Minister Excellence Award for Public Administration. You go to the DOPT website and you go to this DARPG website, Department of Administrative Reforms and Public Grievances. There you will see the contribution of so many public servants, IAS officers, IPS officers, IRS officers, and so many other services officers who are contributing, who are innovating in their domains, and they are improving the governance. So you have to find a solution to the problem by thinking out of box. Next is responsiveness. This is also very, very important these days, especially with the emerging of the social media, internet. At the same time, it is also creating certain violations in our civil service conduct rules. Because these days, every officers, to gain fame and publicity, actually officers has to work behind the curtains. But what is happening? These officers, they are opening their Facebook account, Instagram account, and they are posting and they are popularizing themselves for no cause. It is a violation of the civil service conduct rules. Even though I have going into a domain which is of a controversial nature, I won't go into that. There is a separate, maybe UPSC might ask questions on that. Maybe UPSC might have asked the question, or maybe it will ask question on this thing, because these days this is becoming a trend. Most of you people might have seen that many young IAS officers, young IPS officers, and allied services officers, they are opening Instagram account, they are opening Facebook accounts, and they are promoting there. On the other hand, I must say to all of you that wherever the officer is posted, there must be some official handle of that office. You have to use that official handle of those. Right? Let's say you are working for you are a chairman of the municipal corporation. So in the capacity of the municipal corporation chairman, a commissioner, or whatever be the designation, you have to post. You have to post all your videos, all your content on the official handle only, not on your personal handles. You should not promote yourself at the cost of the public money. You are spending public money and you are upgrading the infrastructure, you are improving the infrastructure, so so you are spending public money, you are improving the things. So definitely those things must go to your official handle, not to your personal handle. So many officers through these Instagram, Facebook pages, they're connecting with the public. They're solving the public problems, not only civil servants. We have seen so many, even politicians also, through Twitter, Instagram, Facebook. They are solving the people problem. Then the trust will be improved between the citizen and administration. And the feedback will come from the citizen to the administration, so that our governance will improve, service delivery will improve. Next is compassion. You all know that empathy is attitude and compassion is a behavior. So compassion is always targeted towards the weaker sections. That we have already studied. What is the difference between empathy and compassion? You must be very clear in your concepts, so that you can write very good answers, whether for the questions or whether for the case studies. So compassion ensures sustainable and inclusive growth and development. I have also given you example. Even for every point, being innovative also, you have to come up with an example. You see from the DARPG website and you write any IAS officer or any police officer, whether that police officer has implemented any innovation in cyber security or security, general security, or establishing Mahila Thanas, Mahila police stations, or maybe GPS enabled vehicles are patrolling the entire area. There are so many innovations done by so many officers. You just visit DARPG. This is under DOPT. You just visit their website, and there are so many administrative reforms that has been done by so many, that has been implemented by so many officers. You will get so many examples. Those kind of examples you have to incorporate. Here I have not incorporated, but you can incorporate the examples from recent current affairs. So in total, performance of civil servants based on these ethical traits will improve governance, and public welfare at large. That is the conclusion I have given. So this is the model answer. I am not saying that this is the perfect answer that you should write. Like I have told you that you can incorporate examples in that answer, and also you can add a few more ethical traits. If you feel there is some other ethical trait is important, you can give priority accordingly, and you have to write any 5 ethical traits. That is what asked by the question. Any 5 ethical traits. I hope you are clear with that question. Next, I am going to another question. In the same year, UPSC has asked another question. That is question number 1A, and this is question number 1B. Same question, asked in a different manner. Here they are asking that identify 10 essential values that are needed for to be an effective public servant. You all know the difference between efficiency, economy, and effectiveness. So here they are asking for effective public servant. So what is the effective public servant? Effective public servant means whatever he is doing, that end point delivery, whether whatever be the public money we are spending, whether the last beneficiary, whether the beneficiaries are benefiting with this expenditure, that is what important. The effective public servant must ensure that aspect. Then only the public servant will be called as effective. Describe the ways and means to prevent non-ethical behavior in public servants. So I hope you understood the question. So that effective, first in the introduction, I have explained that what is effective public servant. Effective public servants always works with a purpose to ensure delivery of quality goods and services to all with special focus on vulnerability. So this is the concept of Antyodaya. What is Antyodaya? Antyodaya is a last mile, the last person in last row. If he is benefited, then all other people we will assume that all other people would have been benefited. That is what the concept of Antyodaya is. That is what the duty of an effective public servant. He should ensure that whatever the public money is spent, it is being utilized properly, and all the beneficiaries are enjoying the benefits with that expenditure. I hope you understood. So next, coming to the 10 essential values that are needed. What are those 10 essential values needed to be an effective public servant? And these are those 10 essential values. You can change, you can delete any value, and you can incorporate any other value. That is your wish, because there are so many values. These 10 values which I felt are needed, that is empathy. Next is dedication to the public service. Already we have discussed. Empathy also we have discussed. Empathy is an attitude, and compassion is the behavior. Empathy is an attitude and compassion is a behavior. Both are values. Third is courage. Fifth is integrity, we have already discussed. Sixth is innovativeness, we have already discussed. Seventh is impartiality. Impartiality and non-partisanship we have discussed thoroughly. You just refer my previous lectures. Next, accountability. Next, humility. Humility means humbleness. He should go to the public. He should visit. As the district collector and sub collector, the DM, SDM are expected to visit the villages to see whether the beneficiaries are getting the benefits, whether the schemes, whatever the schemes, programs that are being implemented by the government, whether they are reaching to the public or not, whether they are reaching to those poorer sections, vulnerable sections, marginalized sections or not. They should go. When they should go, they should when they think that they are the servants, when they have that humble factor, when they have that humbleness factor, when they have that humility as a value. You know, I have already given an example of Sankaran, the famous IAS officer Sankaran. You just search the internet. The name what is Sankaran administration? It mostly focused for the upliftment of the vulnerable and marginalized communities. That is why he became popular. So that humility factor he should have, and perseverance. You should work hard to achieve the desired goal. What is the desired goal? Desired goal is all the sustainable development goals, to remove the poverty, to remove the hunger, etc. and so on. In the same question, there is one more point. Describe the ways and means to prevent non-ethical behavior. So what are the means? What are the steps that needs to be taken so that the non-ethical behavior will be prevented in public servants? Prevention is better than cure. So non-ethical behavior, we are talking about the preventing the non-ethical behavior. Then the mistake will not happen. The fraud will not happen. Corruption will not happen. So what are those ways and means? So I have mentioned few points. You can add few more points, or if you feel important, there is some other point left, you can add. First is accountability must be ensured by formulating laws, rules, and regulations. Accountability. If you are accountable for your action, public servant will behave very carefully. Here we are talking about the public servants. It's not the civil servant. I already told you the difference between civil servant and public servant. Public servant is a larger category. It includes civil servant plus political representatives plus people holding the important positions in the government plus judiciary, etc. and so on. So accountability must be there for all the public servants, whether it is a politician, whether it is a civil servant. See, for the politician, the accountability is there, definitely, because every 5 years he is going for the elections. But what about the civil servants? He is the permanent executive of the government. Then there must be certain accountability. So the mechanisms such as social audits, they have that accountability mechanisms. If any public servant is doing wrong at the ground level, whether it is a sarpanch, whether it is a gram secretary, they will be punished. Second is introducing measures for transparency in offices. For example, RTI, e-office. With e-office, you can track the file movement. It is transparent. You can see that where the file lies, whether it is lying with joint secretary or it went to minister's office, where the file is there. And similarly, whatever you are writing in e-office, it will stay. You cannot change or you cannot burn those files. You cannot burn those files. They are there forever. Then public servant will think twice before writing any such thing in file. Because that file cannot be tampered, that file cannot be burned, that file cannot be misplaced. It will be there forever in the system. Similarly, adopting technologies. You all know that with adopting of technologies, everywhere the corruption will reduce. Everywhere. So, adopting technology, innovations. For example, I have mentioned here, Pragati platform at PMO. What they are doing? Pragati platform at PMO is monitoring. PM himself is monitoring. PM himself is monitoring the projects, big projects, infra projects that are being implemented. So, in that Pragati meetings, all the chief secretaries, all the principal secretaries of the state, all the secretaries of the union government, they all will be there. Similarly, there is a mechanism of public grievances also in Pragati. Through that, the public grievances are also, even not only with Pragati, even with the Twitter Seva or with this Instagram, Facebook, the people at the higher level, the people holding public offices at higher level, let's say ministers, they would come to know what is happening, if any wrong thing is happening, or if any inefficiency in the service delivery, that would be directly, the concerned minister would know with the recent developments in technology. For example, the famous example is the railways. Railways, what people are doing? They are in the Twitter, they are tagging to whom they are tagging. They are tagging the railway minister's office. They are tagging the senior DRM's office, divisional railway manager, which is considered as a very senior positions in the railway ministry. So those people at the higher levels are being tagged by a common man. Then definitely if there is inefficiency in service delivery, that would be addressed and that would be percolated down in the administration, and that problem would be resolved very soon. If anybody is bribing, if anybody is demanding any bribe, or if anybody is asking for any unethical thing, that those things also are being recorded and they are being posted in YouTube. They are leaking those audio clippings, those audio recordings also these days. So everybody is on their toes. Even with police also, you see, if any unethical activity police are doing, if they are arresting any people, these people are making videos of policemen's behavior. And they are tagging the police commissioners, higher officials, and they are bringing those unethical activities of the lower police cadre to the notice of the higher officials of the police department. See how technology is playing an important role in good governance, in service delivery. There are so many other examples. You can write such examples, such current affairs based examples, so that you will get very, very good marks. Next, e-governance initiatives. With e-governance initiatives, what is happening? The discretion is being reduced. If you have no discretion, there will be no corruption. If you have discretion, there is a scope for corruption. For examples, I have given e-passport, e-driving license. Everything you can apply from the online and you can check the status of your application. If you are facing any problem with service delivery, you can tag any senior officer or you can tag minister's office in Twitter and your complaint will be resolved. See how technology, how these innovations, how this technology is improving our governance and making it citizen friendly. Next is carrot and stick policy to be promoted. So officers who are performing good, they should be rewarded. Officers who are not performing well, they should be punished. Then only ethical behavior we will promote in public servants. We have seen that based on the performance report, even the present government has sacked few ministers in the last cabinet reshuffle. You must have seen. That is, in media, the reports have emerged that is based on the performance. Here we are talking about the public servants. That's why I have given the example of the ministers. You can write such examples in your answers. Next, teaching values and ethics in school curriculums and in training institutions. Every civil servant, either it's a civil servant, whether he is a minister, whether he is an MLA, all these people undergo so many trainings. In those training institutions, values and ethics must be taught. Good examples must be taught, so that it will change. It will help in changing their attitudes and behaviors. Next is undertaking multidimensional reforms. Police reforms, administrative reforms, judicial reforms. Creating more awareness among the public. Media and civil society has to play a larger role. Civil society means you all know that NGOs and there are so many other associations that are working simultaneously with the government, in coordination with government. Creating robust grievance redressal mechanisms. These days, the robust grievance redressal mechanisms are becoming very robust with enhancements in technology. I have already explained you about Twitter Seva. I have already told you about the Facebook and etc. This is also one such example. CP grams. You all must be knowing that CP grams. So through CP grams, any citizen can complain on all those 78 ministries and departments, central government ministries and departments. If you have a problem with any ministry, you can complain and it will be directly being monitored at the PMO level. So definitely your complaint will be given priority and it will be resolved soon. Implement code of conduct and code of ethics for public servants strictly in all the departments, in all the ministries, in all public sector undertakings, in all other public bodies. So these are the 10 points I have given to prevent non-ethical behavior in public servants. If you want to add few more points, you can add. Or if you want to change any point, you can change. But you have to give the real current affair based example so that you will get very, very good marks. You must always remember that whatever be the current affairs, whatever be the developments happening in recent days, you should incorporate them in your answers for very good marks. Again, I have given model answer for one more question, which is a standard type of question which UPSC is asking on almost every year. I have picked it from 2015 paper. A mere compliance with law is not enough. The public servant also has to have a well-developed sensibility to ethical issues for effective discharge of duties. See, mere compliance with law is not enough. Here they are talking about the law versus ethics. This is also one of the angle I have mentioned in my previous lecture, which will act as a skeleton to write your answers. Same question they are asking. Law is not enough. Also has a develop enough. The public servant also has to develop a well-developed sensibility to ethical issues. Law plus ethics. Do you agree? Implementation of the rules is one thing. That is the one side of the coin. What is the other thing? And the other thing is that ethics and values. These two things are important. They are the both sides of the same coin. One side you are implementing rules, laws, regulations. And what about the values, ethical principles, the upholding of values and ethics? That is most important. Do you agree? Yes, I agree that. I agree. That's what I am saying, that I agree that definitely both are required. You also should write that both are very, very important. But sometimes they both act in contrary to each other. Not as a complementary or supplementary kind of thing. Some of the times they act in contrary. That is what in the question they are asking. Explain with the help of two examples where an act is ethically right but not legally. Similarly, an act is legally right but not ethically. I have given you certain examples. For example, child labor. At one point of time, it was accepted. There were regulations, there were laws which were promoting child labor at one point of time. But with time, definitely all the countries, they have banned child labor. But at one point of time, it was legal. But at any point of time, it was immoral. It might be 1700, it might be 1600, or it might be 1000. It might be 1000 AD, or it must be 1500 AD, it must be 1700 AD, or it must be 2024 AD. Whatever be the time, the child labor is a immoral thing. But earlier it was legal, but now it is made illegal in almost all the countries. Similarly, sedition laws. You all know section 124 of CRPC. So those are written with a British attitude. When Britishers were ruling this country, those things were incorporated in CRPC. Still they are in place. So it gives gagging powers to the government so that there will not be any opposition. Even today also, we have so many instances in the past 5 years. Many chief ministers have used these things, or many state governments have used this section to harass any opposition leaders. They use this section. It is immoral, but it is legal. Similarly, apartheid laws that once existed in South Africa, those were immoral, but at one point of time it was legal. Similarly, giving fake licenses. Fake licenses means license they will be given without any test. Without any test on his driving abilities. So as per law, it is right. You are giving a license, but it is immoral. You must conduct test before giving license. This is especially happening in India. Similarly, capital punishment. Many countries have this capital punishment, though it is legal. But taking away someone's life is immoral. Similarly, under trials. Under trials, keeping someone in jails is legal. But why most of the under trials, if you see, they are from they are poor. They have very low socio-economic background. That is why they can't give the bail amount also. That's why they are in jails. That is immoral. Similarly, internet shutdowns. Though it might be correct to prevent any, but internet shutdowns for a unlimited time, for a continued prolonged time. For example, if you see the Iran, there are frequent internet shutdowns in Iran to prevent any opposition, because Iran is running under the Islamic monarchy. So there the protection, all things are banned. So frequently internet is shut down. Though in that country it is legal, but it is immoral. Similarly, land acquisitions. Though it is legal to take land from the poor people for sedge and all, but many livelihoods are being disturbed. That is immoral. Similarly, AFSPA Act, that is implemented to improve the law and order in Jammu and Kashmir, Arunachal, those troublesome areas. But with AFSPA Act, so many irregularities have been committed by the army and paramilitary forces in those areas. They have committed rapes, they have committed wrong encounters, they have committed wrong encounters, fake killings, etc. Similarly, there are so many anti-terror acts which gives unlimited powers to the police. So many innocents have been harassed in so many countries by the police. That is immoral. Similarly, DNA profiling can also be misused. So all these things are legal in countries at one point in time or other time, or even they are legal. Even many of the points we have mentioned are legal even today also, but they are immoral. At the same time, second question is, act is legally right but not ethically. Legally right. Sorry, I have already mentioned that this is the second point. Act is legally right, legal but immoral. The first point we have missed is act is ethically right but not legally. As it is moral but illegal. Even here, you can mention that surrogacy laws that I have mentioned, surrogacy laws. Here, they are moral. The act is ethically right but not legally. What is that? Freedom of speech and expression. There are certain restrictions to freedom of speech and expressions. Sometimes those restrictions are heavier. For example, you see the Section 66A of IT Act. Even though Supreme Court has struck it down, but earlier it was there. So that it was restricting the freedom of speech and expressions. So freedom of speech and expression should be there, but with kind of sections like Section 66A, if you freely express anything, it will become illegal. Second is homosexuality. You all know Section 377 and related controversy. May be moral, but it is illegal. Similarly, helping an accident victim immediately. If someone is troubled while you are going to the office, if you help immediately without any legal procedures, you will be a problem. Police will inquire you. Police will call you frequently to the police station. Then you will be. This is a case of medico-legal case. So without any legal procedures, if you want to help accident victim also, you can help. But at the same time, without taking any legal procedures, if you help, maybe you might end up in trouble. There might be many other things which I have not mentioned. You can incorporate them. You can incorporate them in your answers. We will have few more case studies to discuss. Those case study part we will discuss in the next lecture. I hope you understood all the model answers very clearly. If you have any doubts, please feel free to mail me. Thank you all.